Okay, hi everybody, this is Rick speaking. Thanks for watching the video that I uploaded yesterday. Today we're going to do a different video of this young man. So just follow along as best you can, and I'll give you something of a commentary as we go. Okay, thanks. So this young boy has got quite a round face. So we're going to start off with this sort of a shape. We're going to draw the center line down the middle, and then the eye line slightly lower on the face, a little bit less than halfway. And then we're going to pop some eyes quite large and quite far apart. This is one of the key points of a young face, whether it's a human or an animal. Their eyes tend to be larger in proportion to their face and their head, and also slightly farther apart. Okay, so we've got the eyes in there. On the eye line, it's very important you put that eye line in. The pupils must rest on that eye line, wherever it is. Okay, next is the nose. So I'm going to pop that in there quite small, that's fine. And then his little mouth down here. So if you notice, I'm not really worried about the shape of the face just yet. I'm not worried about hair, anything like that. All I'm doing is just this central collection of features. So we're giving him a little mouth. His bottom lip is quite full, so we'll make sure we catch that. These are all the little things that will make it unique to him. It won't just be a generic little boy. It'll be definitely this person. Right, so we've got eyes, nose, mouth. Next thing in the list is the chin. And again, with children, chins tend to be quite small, quite fine. It's only later in life that chins become big and pronounced and easy to caricature. So this is our main points here: eyes, nose, mouth and chin. Now what we're going to do is fill in the shape of the face. So starting from the eyes, we're just going to work out slightly to the side. This is obviously way too much, so we're going to bring it in a little bit to about here. And this is a key point as well. His cheeks are very full, and this is a mark of young children. Again, they don't have wrinkles, they don't have sunken cheeks like the rest of us. So we're going to keep them nice and full. Now, from time to time, you're going to see me using a rubber or an eraser. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, kids. All that's doing is taking off lines. The pencil puts the lines on, and the eraser takes them off. And they both work together, so don't ever feel that rubbing work out is that you've got something wrong or you made a mistake. It doesn't work like that. So feel free to rub out whatever you like and redo it. I'm putting his ears on now. They stick out a little, but again, that's common with younger people. It's nothing too weird. Okay, so we've got the face now, most of it. We've got the ears. Now the next thing is this area up here that we need to address. So I'm going to extend the side of his head in this direction. And we're going to give him quite a large head there, which is fine. In proportion, that's going to work fine. Now, this area here from the hairline to the eyebrow is very important. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop the eyebrows on very faintly. If you notice, they're very faint. They're barely noticeable, but they are there. So this is the distance I'm concerned about. What I'm doing here, I'm just taking off a little bit at the bottom of the eyes. There's nothing wrong with the eyes, but what it'll do, it'll allow me to just push the cheeks up into the eyes with this line. And that's going to help a lot. That makes him look friendly and happy and cheerful. Okay, so that line there is quite important. But it's good to know where the eye was underneath that line, even though you're covering it up. Okay, we've got the hairline now. Now, what I'm also going to do now is begin to introduce the neck, which is, it's not too important, but it just does help to anchor the whole face to the body, so that's good. We'll put a little shirt here on him. Even though it's not the same pose as that, we can still make something up here, just an arm on the side of the table. We'll put his other hand over here. So what I've got now is a fairly rough, light impression of what I'd like to do. So I'm going to go in with a slightly harder pressure now, just to pick up areas that I like. So let's see, we'll go into the eyes first of all. Make those pupils a bit larger. These lashes will be a bit darker. And when we're doing the hair, it's good to study just for a moment the hair growth. If you notice, it's all coming from this point. So even though it looks like just random straight hairs, everything's coming from that point. So this is a point we need to be aware of here. So it's spreading out, if you can see what I'm doing here. And that's going to make it look quite realistic. Now, what I'm going to do as well is do some shading with the side of the pencil. So it's this point here, not the point, because you'll be there all day if you try and shade in with the point. So we're going to use this broad point here. And as you see, you can cover a very large area doing it this way, very, very quickly as well. And that's the key to this, is not to get hung up on little details and spend hours and hours shading something when you can just do it in a few strokes. That's the plan. I'm also going to put a shade down the side of his face. Now, what this does is creates an illusion of 3 dimensions. So down here you've got this rounding effect now. Instead of it just being a flat disc, it begins to look more like a 3-dimensional shape. There's also a bit of a shade here. And we could maybe just shade his top lip a bit more. Not the bottom lip, because that's the one that's catching the light. So we're going to leave that. Maybe under his bottom lip would be a nice place to put some shadow. And now it's just a case of just going around and tidying things up and strengthening bits and pieces here and there that need it. We're up to 10 minutes now, which is not ideal, but it's because I'm trying to draw on the other side of this camera, which is taking a bit of getting used to. So normally a drawing like this would only take a maximum 5 minutes. So I'll keep working and I'll try and get faster for you. This is another good way of adding a little bit of pattern to his shirt very quickly. You know, we're not here to draw shirts, we're here to draw people, so anything we can do to speed this part of the process up is fine. And something like that, that's fine, that gives the impression of a tartan shirt, so that's really all we need. Bit of shadow under his nose. Now, I could spend all day fussing over this drawing, and to be honest, I don't think it would look much different. So I think being able to stop a drawing is quite a skill in itself. It's knowing when you've done enough and the job's been done. This here is a little trick, just to put a bit of a shadow under his elbow, or whatever's touching the table really. It just anchors it nicely. And then finally we'll just clean up a few points there. There you go, that's that. Okay, thank you. See you next time.